Hello, it's Sarah from Don't Lie to Me. So Tucker Carlson released a monologue called "It's Time to Save America." He laid out 10 things he thinks America should be: fair, sovereign, productive, beautiful, healthy, honest, family-oriented, educated, decent, and united. And honestly, he gets a lot right, more right than wrong actually. The system is broken. Both parties do serve the same masters. Government does serve itself instead of serving you. But Tucker also misses some things, and where he misses, it matters. So today we're going through all 10 points, agreeing where we agree, disagreeing where we disagree, and clarifying where the story is darker than he lets on. Point 1. Fair. Tucker says fairness is the foundation of everything. Nobody gets a pass, no matter how rich or connected. He uses Epstein as the perfect example, not just because of the crimes, but because Epstein got a pass. Different rules for different people is what destroys trust in the entire system. He's right. Epstein enrages people not because of what he did, but because the people who enabled him faced zero consequences. That's the definition of a pass. Strong agree. This is literally what we've been saying for months. This is the core "Don't Lie to Me" thesis. Hillary Clinton ran BleachBit over 33,000 emails under subpoena, smashed phones with hammers, 0 charges. Samuel Tunick used a duress password at the airport. His phone wiped itself. Federal felony. Rules for thee, none for me. That's not a slogan. That's documented fact. Tucker is 100% right here. Point 2. Sovereign. Tucker says a country that takes orders from outside forces isn't actually free. He specifically calls out foreign lobbying, particularly Israel, pushing America toward a war with Iran that serves their interests, not ours. He also calls debt a form of slavery, both personal and national. You're not sovereign when you owe your future to someone else. He's right about Israel and Iran, but the lobbying problem is broader than one country. AIPAC is one tentacle. Big pharma, big tech, defense contractors, the fossil fuel lobby, all of them write our laws. The system itself is the octopus. The reality is broader. AIPAC, sure, but also big pharma, big tech, defense contractors, the fossil fuel lobby. All of them write our laws. Israel is one tentacle. The system itself is the octopus. On debt, Tucker's dead right. Personal debt is engineered. The credit score system is modern serfdom. You're not free when you owe your soul to a bank. And national debt, $35 trillion and counting. Your share is over $100,000. You didn't spend it, but you owe it. That's not freedom. That's a mortgage on your future that you never signed. Point 3. Productive. Tucker says the civilization is defined by what it makes, and America doesn't make anything anymore except weapons, surveillance technology, and financial speculation. He points out that Ross Perot and Pat Buchanan both warned us about shipping our manufacturing overseas. Nobody listened. That's not a civilization. That's a military contractor with a flag. We traded our productive base for cheap plastic goods from China and record corporate profits. But here's what Tucker doesn't tell you. This wasn't an accident. NAFTA, the WTO, permanent normal trade relations with China, all bipartisan, all deliberate policy choices. The same establishment Tucker criticizes engineered this on purpose. They shipped your jobs overseas so they could maximize quarterly profits. Ross Perot warned you. Pat Buchanan warned you. Nobody listened. Point 4. Beautiful. Tucker says beauty matters. Beautiful things elevate you, ugly things demoralize you. He talks about brutalist architecture, the concrete bunkers that replaced beautiful civic buildings across America. And he talks about dirty streets and public decay. His key line, cleanliness isn't fascism. A society that tolerates squalor has given up. He's right. They tore down beautiful buildings and replaced them with concrete bunkers. This is Boston City Hall. Brutalism isn't architecture, it's hostility made permanent. And cleanliness isn't fascism. When you see people defecating on the sidewalk, that's not a poverty issue, that's cultural. In parts of the world, that's normal behavior. When people bring those habits here and cities tolerate it, that's a choice. The homeless problem is separate and more complicated. California's homeless includes everyone from people genuinely on the street to Google engineers, making $500,000 a year sleeping in their cars. A studio apartment costs $4,000 a month. That's a housing policy failure. But the biggest driver of people on the streets is mental illness. And why? Because we shut down the mental institutions. We called them inhumane. We patted ourselves on the back for our compassion, and then we dumped everyone onto the sidewalk. The problems didn't disappear. They spilled into the public square. Now we have people having psychotic episodes on the subway, and the government solution is to tell you intolerant for noticing. We traded institutions for open-air asylums and called it progress. Point 5. Healthy. Tucker says a healthy country is a strong country. He calls out the poison in our food supply, the overprescription of pharmaceuticals, and gives Bobby Kennedy credit for raising these issues. He says we're physically and spiritually sick as a nation, and the system profits from keeping us that way. Remember the food pyramid? The one they taught you in school? 6 to 11 servings of grains, bread, pasta, cereal as the foundation of a healthy diet. That wasn't science. That was the wheat and corn industries buying federal dietary guidelines. The government literally taught generations of children to eat the exact foods that would make them sick, obese, and diabetic. And then the pharmaceutical industry sold them the pills to manage the diseases the food caused. The opioid epidemic wasn't a crisis. It was a marketing campaign by Purdue Pharma, approved by the FDA. The Sackler family walked. That's not a health crisis. That's a crime with better lawyers. We spend more per capita on healthcare than any nation on earth and have worse outcomes. The FDA is captured. Your health is their commodity. Point 6. Honest. Tucker says if it's a crime for you to lie to the government, it should be a crime for the government to lie to you. He points out that classification isn't about national security, it's about covering up corruption. He mentions 63 years of sealed JFK files, over 1 billion classified documents. Almost none of them protect you. They protect the people in power. This is literally the "Don't Lie to Me" mission statement. Martha Stewart went to prison for lying to the FBI. The FBI lies to Congress under oath. Nothing happens. James Clapper said not wittingly about mass surveillance, perjured himself on camera, still has his security clearance. 63 years after JFK and we still can't see the files. The government classifies over 1 billion documents. Not to protect you, to protect themselves. They lie about wars. They lie about surveillance. They lie about what's in your food, your water, your medicine. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Tucker is 100% right here. Point 7. Family-oriented. Tucker says children are the point of everything. A country that doesn't care about kids has no future. He says leaders without children have no time horizon. They don't care what happens after they're gone. He calls the birth rate decline existential and says any economic system that makes it harder to have kids is fundamentally evil. He's right that the birth rate is a crisis, but it's darker than just economics. Certain demographics are explicitly told that having children is bad for the environment. Stop having kids to save the planet, and then those same countries import millions of third world immigrants to keep population numbers up. You're told to stop reproducing while the government replaces you with cheaper labor. That's not a conspiracy theory. It's demographic engineering in broad daylight. The economics matter too. When you doubled the workforce by pushing every woman into the labor market, you doubled the supply of labor without meaningfully increasing demand. Wages stagnated. Families needed 2 incomes just to survive. And culturally, society devalues the family. Single motherhood is the majority in some communities. Being child-free is trendy, as long as you're white, of European descent. Everyone else is encouraged to have as many children as possible. When the same people who tell you children destroy the environment simultaneously import millions of immigrants because we need population growth, maybe pay attention to who's giving the advice and who benefits. Point 8. Educated. Tucker says the education system is a disaster. Every new fad, from iPads to new math, made things worse instead of better. He says we should teach timeless wisdom and human nature, not ephemeral skills like coding that AI might eliminate in 5 years. The system was designed to produce obedient workers, not free thinkers. But here's what Tucker won't tell you. Textbooks are propaganda. In a country with a federalized education system, whoever controls the textbooks controls what an entire generation believes about their own history. Robert Maxwell, confirmed foreign intelligence asset, bought Macmillan in 1988 for $2.6 billion, became the second largest textbook publisher in America. A spy who sold bugged software to our nuclear labs was deciding what your children learned in school for years, and he's not the only one. History is written by the victors. He who controls the past controls the future. And the people controlling your children's past have intelligence connections you'll never hear about on cable news. Point 9. Decent. Tucker calls for a pro-human foreign policy. He says America should only defend itself, never wage wars of choice. He calls the killing of civilians in our name exactly what it is: murder. He says we shouldn't fund genocide or celebrate violence from behind cable news desks. A decent country doesn't do these things. The US has been at war for 20 of the last 24 years. Over 800 military bases in 70+ countries. We've killed hundreds of thousands of civilians in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Yemen, and Libya. For what? Every war we've started since 2001 has made the world less safe. The defense budget is $1.5 trillion. And we can't win a war. The Defense Department hasn't defended America in decades. It's an offense department serving the military-industrial complex. Eisenhower warned us about this. We didn't listen. A decent country doesn't do this. Tucker's right, and calling out leaders who celebrate war while wearing suits on cable news? That's basic decency. Point 10. United. Tucker says America needs a shared identity to survive. He calls for an end to mass immigration, especially with AI eliminating jobs. He wants English as the official language. And he makes a crucial point. Most of the divisions tearing us apart are artificially created by leaders who use culture war as a cover for their own corruption. Here's where I agree with Tucker completely. You can love immigrants and still hate a system that floods the country with illegal immigration. These are not contradictory positions. Becoming an American should require more than climbing a fence. Every country on earth has the right to decide who enters. You decide who comes into your home. A nation is a home, just bigger. Excluding people who aren't a benefit, financially, culturally, or otherwise, is perfectly natural and reasonable. It's what every functional country does. The system that exploits illegal immigrants needs to be dismantled. Punish the employers who hire them at sub-minimum wages, vote out the politicians who use them as props, investigate the NGOs facilitating the flow. We covered the H-1B visa program, the legal version of the same scam. Disney fired 250 Americans and made them train their replacements. HCL stole $95 million in wages. Whether they climbed a fence or got a visa stamp, The system is designed to suppress your wages and boost their profits. The immigrants aren't your enemy. This system is. And America is not a charity. It owes its citizens first. So that's Tucker's 10 points. And here's the bottom line. He's right that the system is broken. He's right that both parties serve the same masters. He's right about debt, war, surveillance, and corporate capture. But Tucker tends to frame things as cultural or civilizational decay, the Epstein class, the uglification of architecture, the loss of values, as if these are separate problems. They're not. They're all symptoms of one thing, an economic and political system deliberately captured by a small number of people who use government as a tool for self-enrichment while keeping everyone else divided and distracted. Tucker will tell you what's wrong. He won't name the specific board members, the specific lobbying firms, the specific stock trades. He'll describe the symptoms all day. He won't name the disease. He's part of the system he's critiquing, and as long as we keep fighting each other instead of the people who designed this system, nothing changes. If you want more content like this, content that goes beyond the surface and names names, subscribe and hit the bell. We put out videos every week exposing the lies. Like this video, leave a comment and tell me which of Tucker's points you agree or disagree with. And check the description for full sources on everything we covered today. I'm Sarah, and they're lying to you. Take care of each other.